Welcome to The Scoop with Bolanle.
Thank the Lord for bringing you my way, and I'm never letting go. This loving is for life. This loving is for life. Love is in the air, and it's thicker than January's Hamilton dust, guys. What a better way to start out this week with a double dose of Niger love stories. Happy New Week, Nigeria. It's a new week, and we're choosing to start with some positivity. This is The Scoop with Bolanle, and of course, I'm Bolanle. There has been no breathing space for singles. First, the star of Anikulapo himself, Kunle Remi, shattered hearts this last Sunday when he officially joined the ranks of the happily married. He got married to Boluwatiwi, and oh boy, the wedding had more guests online than actually in the wedding hall. The love train doesn't stop there. Sensational gospel artist Moses Bliss also broke the internet when he tossed up pictures of his engagement to stunning Ghanaian heartthrob Mary Wiseborn. And just like that, Kunle Remi and Moses Bliss, they served breakfast. Now this touched the hearts of secret and also the not so, you know yourself, secret admirers. And it started this interesting war with defenders of the baddies and the champions of the good girls. And the timeline was a mess. I'm going to read one of the tweets that I saw. This is from Bruzy, who responded to a picture of Mary Wiseborn. Bruzy said, "No unnecessary jewelry, no wig, meaning she'll be prudent and part of good character." So you're telling me that because someone doesn't wear wig, they don't wear lashes, they don't have makeup on, they have good character? Okay, so this is where I'm going to start from, and I'm going to kind of dissect this whole thing. First of all, I find it funny that we're having this conversation because the cost of Gary is very high right now, but we'll leave that to the side. This whole good girl versus bad girl character thing, the fact that it's based on what a person physically looks like, I find it to be very basic. And I say that because I remember when I was in secondary school. Do you know who the most wicked teachers were? The most wicked teachers were the teachers who had no lashes, no makeup, no piercings. They wore skirts all the way down to the floor so that it won't show. The sleeves, it was here. And those teachers were wicked. Yoruba people say one buru, which means they are wicked. So for us to judge and say that because of the way a person looks, that means that they have good character versus not, that's silly. Do you know what good character is? Good character comes from how you treat people and how a person conducts themselves and how they carry themselves. That's what good character is. And this is not to say that Mary is not a good character, but I'm just saying that I find it to be very basic, and I find it to be just so elementary to say that based on the way a person looks, they are good character or not. Good character is how you treat someone. Number two, I would really like to let you guys know that if you want to attract someone of good character, you need to have good character as well. Girls are not interested in bad boys. Good girls who have good character, they're not interested in bad boys. They're not. Why? Because they can judge whether or not someone has good character. And their character, their spirit will not be attracted to yours if you don't have the same type of spirit. Like minds attract like minds. So if you're out there and you keep attracting a baddie, now you cause them. You're the baddie. It's not her. The baddie is attracted to the baddie. So leave the girls that are good character. What? You now want to go and spoil their Gary and put sand inside with your bad character. The last thing I'm going to say about this thing is that you guys really need to start thinking in higher ways, because I just don't like seeing conversations like this happening online where we're talking about good character, baddie, this one, that. What does the person do? If you're interested in a woman who is a baddie, go and date a baddie. Stop trying to get a baddie to become like a good girl. Let everybody choose who they want to choose. I don't like all this one where you're like, oh, yes, this is the girl. The girl must dress like this. She must do this. She must do that. She must do that. Leave the girl alone. Leave women alone. That if she's not your spec, she's not your spec. Focus on the girls that have good character. Yeah, enough out there. The only reason you can't get a good character girl, my dear, is because you ain't got the character to attract her. I said it. Quote me. All right, moving on to another positive storyline. Freedom at last. I have more positive news today on The Scoop. I'm so excited to tell you guys that Nabiha's sisters and other kidnapped victims have been freed. Last week, the Abuja kidnapping saga really had Nigeria holding its breath, and it was such a dark time for so many of us, considering the fact that Nabiha's uncle, Folarin Shaw, and also other victims had been killed during this tragedy. The uncertainty and the helplessness, the tragedy and the fear was just unbearable. So you can imagine the relief when on Saturday, news broke that the kidnapped sisters and other victims have been finally found and freed. And this was in Kajura Forest in Kaduna State at 11:30 p.m. Don't forget also, there was alleged reports of 100 million naira ransom that was paid. And apparently, well, they've not confirmed whether it was paid, but allegedly. It was also the FCT anti-kidnapping unit in collaboration with the Nigerian army who took up the job of rescuing these victims. So my question though is, the victims were rescued. I would like to hear that 1 or 2 kidnappers were actually caught. There's been no news on that. Again, the fear and the feeling that we have about what's happening in Abuja is really troubling. I would like to still see our ministers and the parties who are responsible for keeping Nigeria safe, the security sector, really stepping up. I recently saw a video of Minister, the FCT Minister Wike, and he's been coming forward to kind of really talk and say that he's going to ensure that the victims are released, and also just saying that Abuja is going to step up when it comes to security. But I don't know if there's as much urgency as there should be. We've been seeing this happen one too many times, and yes, the victims were rescued, but also people died. Nigeria is not, we're not clear yet. I need to see actual action steps. What are they going to do to ensure that this doesn't happen again? Because it just feels like this is just one-off. These kidnappers can be caught. We keep saying there's NIN. We keep saying they're using phones, there's tracking. Nigeria is not a baby country where we don't have the military equipment to track and find these people. So the question I keep asking myself is, why are they not being found? This is the question. I want to hear from you guys. You guys let me know what your thoughts are on this kidnapping situation. I want to hear from you guys. We're switching it up. Oh my goodness. We have another explosion that's happening, and what is happening? A child's life has been claimed. 10 other people's as well have been injured at a local government in Giwa, Kaduna State. Just last week, we had an explosion that rocked Ibadan, and now Kaduna? What is happening? Although there's not been any definite explanation, of course, from our officials, allegedly, the explosion was caused by an object that the child picked up in a bush. An object the child picked up in a bush. Hey, that doesn't explain the mangled bodies. It doesn't explain it. They shouldn't insult our intelligence. Explosion just sprouts from the ground like mushrooms. Children are playing, they're having freedom in the open, and you're telling them that they can't play because why? There's explosives in the bush. Sometimes, when I hear things and when I hear these stories, I just feel like it's like our officials think that we're crazy or we're stupid. You can run mad if you try to explain in Nigerian to a non-Nigerian, because how? Doesn't it sound absurd to you guys? Look, I'm not an education expert, but I'm pretty sure that crayons and toys were supposed to be the only thing that children are playing in a school environment. Not a bomb. And this is not knockouts that you throw on New Year's Eve. It's an explosion that actually killed a child and injured 10 other kids. So we're going to need more information from our officials. And sometimes I think at the very core of why we don't get explanations from our officials when there's death is that at the very core of this country, for some reason, we don't value life the way we should. When you hear stories sometimes in some other countries where maybe you say, for example, America, right? A child died, or you hear there's one person trapped in a building that's fallen down, you're going to see people working round the clock trying to pick that person out of the building that's collapsed, because one life means a lot. In this country, it seems sometimes like one life doesn't mean anything, or 10 lives. And I keep asking myself, how many people have to die for people to really care and for officials to do what it is that they're supposed to and give us real reasons and explanations when someone dies? And maybe it's because sometimes in Nigeria we just move along, but we've formed and built so much resilience that sometimes we're just like, oh, shame, it is what it is. And our officials know that, you guys. The people that are responsible for explaining what happened to this child know that. That's why they've not given us an explanation that's worthy, because the explanation they're giving us is not good enough. How did the explosive get there? Why was the explosive there? Who is being traced and tracked to explain why was the explosive there? These are the questions that we need answers for. You guys, we need answers. We're calling on the Nigerian agencies to give us answers. What happened that there was an explosive in that local government that a child had easy access to? I know we started on a positive note, but it seems as if the Nigerian army doesn't really care. Bodies are decaying in the Nigerian army hospital because the Nigerian army is owing EKDC millions of naira? Huh? I mean, come on. The Nigerian army hospital in Yaba apparently has not had electricity in over 3 weeks. People are dying, corpses are decaying, and the hospital healthcare workers are stranded. EKDC, though, is pointing fingers at the Nigerian army for owing them millions of naira in electricity bills. Meanwhile, the Nigerian army officers are also pointing fingers to the higher-ups, claiming that, hey, get this, their money, their salary money, they are deducting from it to pay electricity bills. How? Where? Why? So the question is, okay, you've decided to deduct money from the employees. So where is the money that you're deducting going to? If you're deducting it. And I mean, this is the Nigerian Army Hospital, you guys. You have to remember that this hospital is for Nigerian Army members, for people who have chosen to serve this country. And we right now know that Nigeria is definitely dealing with a crisis in terrorism. So it's not as if these military officers are not being deployed. They deserve the right to have good health care. They deserve the right to be respected. And their families deserve that if their loved one passes away, they should be treated with respect, honor, and dignity. Meanwhile, you have them in a hospital with their bodies decaying because you cannot pay a light bill. Nigerian army, really? And there's a budget for it? Do you not think it's enough? At some point, yeah, you kind of have to really claim back your right and respect from the people that employ you. So I really wish the Nigerian army, and I wish all the members and the family members, I wish that they would really call the Nigerian army to order. This is shameful. It's a NEPA bill. You can't expect EKDC to just say, oh, it's a Nigerian army hospital, no problem. Pay what you owe. Do right by these people who have chosen to serve the country to serve our beloved country. Absolute shame. Guys, gather around because Femi Adesina's book is really spilling some serious tea. In his newly launched book that he wrote about our former President Buhari, in one of the chapters, he reveals that Buhari could have had a little bit of a choose your own adventure moment with Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB. And it seems as if he was going to be deciding between Rice and Eba, except this wasn't between Rice and Eba. This was a choice as to whether he was going to kill or extradite Nnamdi Kanu. But it says in the book that Buhari, being the generous leader that he is, reportedly said it was a tough ask. Guys, you know, I can almost hear him saying, guys, you know, deciding the fate of a person is a full-time job, or I don't know, I can't think about it. Ask me later. Hey, God forbid. But fast forward to 2021, and what do we see? Nnamdi Kanu is doing the extradition shuffle between Kenya and Nigeria, and is still actually facing trial. So I have to say kudos to President Buhari for being merciful and choosing to extradite Nnamdi Kanu instead of offing him.
I've always discouraged those who want to leave the country. I said 9 to 5, yes. You can always get 9 to 5 job when you leave the country, but you can never get the opportunity you get in Nigeria. You can just wake up one day, you become a minister in Nigeria. You can just wake up one day, you become a governor. It just happens. I don't know how this country operates. So if you're looking for opportunity, please stay back in Nigeria.
Hey, I just found out that you can apparently become a governor or a minister overnight. Did you know? Rosi Amechi discourages youth from migrating, also known as jackbuying, Ex-Minister Rotimi Amaechi said that Nigerians should put a hold on japa because you can just wake up and you can become a Nigerian minister or a governor overnight. Oh my goodness, I must have missed this memo. So the quick question is, why is Amaechi not giving us more expo on this? Because if it's to sleep and wake up, oh boy, me I go sleep and wake up, I'm not going anywhere. But really, on a serious note, how does this happen? And I guess I get what he's saying in the fact that your life can transform and change if you're here in Nigeria, and you know, things can just happen. But I don't think that's the reason why you should tell people not to japa. People are japaing because the state of the country is very hard today, tomorrow, and because it feels as if there's not many opportunities for a lot of young people. People are japaing because they want to have better opportunities. Are we all going to start and stay here and say because we want to become ministers or governors that we should not leave when tomorrow, next year feels like it's going to be very hard? I really need to hear better reasons as to why Nigerian youth should stay. He spoke in an interview last week where he mentioned that he discourages Nigerian youth from the current migration syndrome because there are opportunities in Nigeria. And I agree, there are opportunities. But the opportunities feel like you're being choked on a wall and you're fighting for breath while you're trying to achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve. That's honestly, in my opinion, what it currently feels like in Nigeria. And I think the real question, though, is when you think about people like Nabiha, Folorunsho, victims of the Ibadan blast and also Kaduna explosion, they stayed in Nigeria, and unfortunately, Nigeria happened to them. That's what it feels like. So, you know, let's be guided how we say these things when we tell people not to japa, because those are not good enough reasons. We need to see our officials actually doing what it is that they promised us to do, so that people can feel comfortable and feel like there's a better future for Nigeria. I will always speak into Nigeria and say there is a better future for Nigeria, but I also need the officials and our leaders to match up to the hope that we have. The private sector is literally carrying Nigeria on his back. On his back. It's carrying a 600-pound woman. It's like a child that is 2 years old carrying a 600-pound woman. That's what it feels like right now. So when we see our officials and our government officials really stepping up, then you can begin to tell people, don't japa. And they should be concerned, because the brain drain is real. My own makeup artist recently, someone that I always used to use, she's left. I had to find a new makeup artist. Why? Because she doesn't feel like the opportunities are matching her potential. So, guys, according to our dear Minister Amaechi, if you're in Murtala Mohammed, please turn back. But turn back to come and do what? Give us better reasons than you want to become a minister or a governor tomorrow. Give us more tangible reasons. Let the Nigerian youth feel like they have better future possibilities here in this home. I would like to hear from you though. If you had a chance to japa, would you take it or would you not? Do you want to stay back in your fatherland because maybe you're going to become a minister? Let's have a conversation. I love hearing from you guys, and I absolutely love reading your comments. I read every single one of them. And don't forget to share with your friends. Share on all your social media platforms. Let's keep the conversation going. And a little bit also told me, because I love you guys, that we might actually have some freebies. And you never know, I just might invite one of you, our commenters, right here into the studio to have a bit of a chit chat with me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And of course, I remain Bolanle. Bye.